The sea. So growing up in Jamaica, when you say water, I think first about the sea and going to the beach. Where we lived was a residential neighborhood called Iron Shore in Montego Bay. And the story of that neighborhood was that it was built right beside, to be right adjacent to a beach. And so, even though the beach itself is not one that I went to that often, if you mention water to me, I'm thinking of the sea and I'm thinking of being at the beach. Not just being at the beach, but the proximity of the sea is just very much there as we were going about daily life in Jamaica. And there's another wastescape in the Pacific. So once I've learned a lot of Caribbean artists who do work on, like putting together all the plastic that is coming out of the sea and then making artworks out of it. So it's really educated me about what's happening from a kind of environmental perspective in the water. So that would be one thing. And then maybe related to that, probably Jamaicans' consciousness of that is more developed now than it was when I was growing up in Jamaica. I was there until I was 17. But I remember we were, kind of unversed in this kind of environmental language. And I do think Caribbeans have their own thoughts and feelings about the water and how to preserve it and how to take care of the seas. So I don't just want that to come from the outside, from the US, but I do have a hope that we would kind of protect, the environments, the kind of ecological environments in the seas around the Caribbean and around Jamaica.
So the last question is, and you kind of started to answer this, but if you could kind of make it, maybe expand on this, what has the water given you? So you talk about the water. What is the water given?
Happiness. For sure, like a happiness that is just separate from anything that's actually going on in the moment. There's only one other thing that has that same, or that I can think of right now, that has that same feeling, weirdly enough, which is going to the movies. Like that has that same feeling where it's a kind of just pure excitement and happiness, and going to the beach, to the water, but really the water at the beach, being by the water. You know, it just, there's happiness, there is, I don't quite know how to describe it. I mean, there are common word, peace, well-being, but I'm trying to get at it without sounding cliche, but just like, I just settle into myself kind of more. And I feel like, I'm okay with the world, and I don't feel kind of the buzz of everything that agitates me and occupies me in my regular life. I would like to live by the sea at some point, although it almost feels a little bit like, if I lived by the sea, that maybe it would lose its special quality. Maybe it would become kind of boring and normal, because I do think part of why I've retained this sense that being by the sea and by the water just gives me a good feeling is I have the sense that I'm not, it's not right out my door. So, it's always something that makes me happy when I can get to go, right? Whether it's on a trip or going to the beach or, but yeah, it just brings a kind of pure happiness. And I think some of that is because it brings a lot of memories. I think I have my island identity, nothing's gonna remind me more quickly that I'm Jamaican and that I'm from an island than the feel of what it feels like to live by the water.
All right, don't be nervous, Mom.
When I did live in Jersey, there was a waterfalls, like a bridge. When I would drive over, I put the window down so I could hear the noise of the water.
Nice, I remembered it. Yes, okay. What is one story, legend, or myth you were given about water?
I can't remember any about water.
A story about water. You watched Shark Week. A story about water.
Other than the sharks in there.
Any type of water. What story, a legend, or a myth about water?
Did it have to be anything in it?
Anything. It could be anything about water.
The myth of the monster coming out of the ocean.
Oh, like a Godzilla type thing?
Yeah.
And like there's monsters underneath.
Yeah.
Like water is is like a scary place.
It is.
Water. So that's so tough because I have so many memories of water. But I think one of the ones that really sticks out to me is I've been blessed to be able to travel and do this work. So I've done international work on water, and I've done like domestic and obviously local. And so I got the chance to go visit Washington, the state, and I went to Spokane. And my friend, who's an indigenous person, took me on like this water tour of like Washington State, Oregon, and Idaho. And so in this, we stop in the middle of like this forest, this beautiful old growth forest, and there's like a spring there that someone has like connected a pipe that it goes straight from the mountain, and like this water has supposed to have like magical properties and all this other stuff. And so you drink it, you're drinking this mountain water, and it's like nothing I've ever tasted before. And I think that's like my strongest memory about water. That it's, what is one dream or wish? I wish for is freedom. That's what I wish for. It's freedom in every way possible. Just, it should be clean, it should be pure, it should be readily available. It's just true freedom.
I grew up in Puerto Rico, so we have many memories with water, right? One of ones that I always remember is we drank water. I was born in one town, but my mom eventually moved to another town where she lived there with my stepdad. But the water in my town was salty and the water in her town was sweet. So I always like drinking water when I went to visit her because the water really tastes really good. And I didn't like drinking water with my grandmother. Always said that, Puerto Rico, old-fashioned people, that the ocean always come back for you. Like they always said the ocean always gonna claim somebody because sometimes it gets thirsty. And then, that is always on the back of your head, like who's going to be the victim now? Like I don't want to be the one that dies in the water. So, it just always reminds you of those tales. I don't have anything else to share. I mean, I could sit here and talk about water all day. Trust me, I have too many stories, but